Well, that's pretty much it. We finished this application. Before we move on, I want to do a quick review of some of the very important concepts that we covered inside this application. I'm inside the actions.index.js file, where we created an action creator to fetch weather from our OpenWeather API. Inside of here, we made use of a constant declared type for our action. We made this constant action right here so that we would not risk making any typos between defining our type right here and when we actually used it inside of our reducers file. In addition, inside of our action creator, we made use of Redux promise, which is a middleware that allows us to return a promise on this payload property right here. When we return a promise on this payload property, Redux promise is going to automatically wait for that promise to resolve. Then, once it does, it'll take the data that the promise resolved with, it'll replace the request right here with that data, and then it will send the action onto our reducers. In your own applications that you start to work on in the future, I really expect that you'll probably end up making use of Redux promise anytime you need to make some type of AJAX request. Now, the next big thing that we tackled inside this application was our weather reducer, which was used to store all the data that we fetched from that outside API. The big lesson here was that we wanted to make sure that we never mutated existing state. So anytime an action came in that we cared about, we would make sure that we returned a completely new array, rather than modifying the existing array that we already had. The line of code that you see right here, where we create a new array, we add in a single new record, and then add in all the previous records that we have, is a very common pattern, and it's something that you're going to see very frequently when you start working on your own Redux projects as well. Now, the last big thing I want to mention was our Google Map component right here. So inside of our Google Map component, we made use of React's ref system in order to get a direct DOM reference to this div right here that was rendered in our browser. We then fed that ref off to the Google Maps library, which was used to render an actual library iframe, or a map iframe on the screen, which made the user think that, yep, we've got this map sitting right here, and they could see the actual city appearing. So this was a good use or a good example of how we can still use third-party libraries, such as Google Maps, inside of a React application. And that's pretty much it. Now, there's still a lot for us to learn about Redux and React, so let's take a quick break right here, and in the next section, we'll get started on our next application.